Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I want to read my speech on my second meeting with the principals of KISWATE Adopted Schools, scheduled for Wednesday, July the 23rd, 2006. That's about 2 days to come. And the reason why I read my speeches in advance is because I want my audience and the principals to understand what I'm trying to do so that when they come to the live meeting, they can ask me questions. And before I read my speech, today you can see I'm dressed on a KISWATE Digital Academy t-shirt. We have the KISWATE logo over there, and then KISWATE Digital Academy, if you can read. If you can read over there, I don't know whether you can see it. Yeah, this t-shirt was sent to me from Kenya around 2 years ago, and shout out to our designer, Woodrant Publishers. Shout out to you. You are doing a good job, and I'm made to understand that even right now, the Woodrant Designers Limited have shipped some t-shirts to me a couple of hours ago, and right now they are en route to the US. Many a times, because of the way life is here in America, apart from importing t-shirts from Kenya, I usually do also import food. I import things like ugali or unga. I import things like roiko. I import things like omena. I import things like dried vegetables because they are not available here in the US. And if they are, they're damn expensive. So, having said that, let me go to my speech. Today, my school of choice is St. Anne's Sega Township Secondary School, based in Sega, Western Kenya, in the east coast of Africa. And I'll be addressing all principals of KISWATE Adopted Schools and the students, board of management, and Parents Teachers Association of St. Anne's Sega Township Secondary School. Why? Because we have earmarked this school to be in the first phase of digitization, which is starting soon by August 25th, 2025. Now, speech of KISWATE founder, Pius Odhiambo, on his second meeting with the principals of KISWATE Adopted Schools at St. Anne's Sega Township Secondary School after meeting veteran YouTuber Ayamarwa. If you have seen my video that I've just posted, my Chief of Staff, Engineer Rose Deborah Pio, met Ayamarwa, and Ayamarwa is very happy to work with us. So we're going to work with Ayamarwa to digitize our schools. We're going to work with Ayamarwa to put computers in all our adopted schools. That's what that means. And that's the reason why my Chief of Staff had to travel all the way from Nairobi to Nyabohanze to name the calf that has been born out of the cow that was gifted to Ayamarwa by KISWATE. Ayamarwa named that cow KISWATE cow. So KISWATE cow has been given birth to a calf, and Ayamarwa allowed us to name that calf KISWATE Digital Academy, because KISWATE Digital Academy is going to be our latest product in the market since we started operating in the year 2000. In the year 2020 during COVID-19. Our very first product was KISWATE Scholarship Fund, which has done extremely well. And we also have had KISWATE Community Service, which also did great. And now we are rolling out a third product, and this is KISWATE Digital Academy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to read my speech. So my name is Pius Odhiambo. I am originally from Western Kenya. My central home is near a small shopping center called Kakara, next to Lwero Elementary and Junior Secondary School. On the other side of my ancestral home is St. Joseph Ochiel Elementary and Junior Secondary School. Next to it is Uyundo Comprehensive School, and not very far from there is Kagonya Comprehensive School. That is where I come from. Today, I'm here to reaffirm my commitment through my innovation, KISWATE Digital Academy, to support St.On Sega Township Secondary School transition from 844 system of education to the complex CBC system. I hope by now heads of schools are aware that the CB converts one big school like St.On Sega Township with over 1,000 students into multiple schools through the pathways. If Sega Township decides to choose 3 pathways, one for STEM, another one for sports and leisure, and another one for social sciences, what does this mean? This implies that Sega Township Secondary School will have 3 small schools within a big school. And this will require a lot of resources like more teachers and software, like software tools to automate the repetitive tasks. As we wait for the documentary evidence that St.On Sega Township Secondary School Board of Management, that St.On Sega Township Secondary School Board of Management has approved digitization of the school by KISWATE, I've sent my CEO today again to the school to ensure that the school is not left out in the first phase of digitization. We intend to install Safaricom 5G internet and Starlink Wi-Fi internet modems at St.On Sega Township Secondary School for free, but the school must assure KISWATE that they are capable of paying monthly internet subscription fees, which stands at 4,000 per month for Safaricom and 6,500 per month for Starlink. These fees are paid to the service providers directly, and at the expiry of the KISWATE project, we will donate the digital devices to the school. If KISWATE Digital Academy succeeds either in Kenya or in other country in Africa, as an internationally recognized philanthropist, I intend to write off all fee arrears for students at KISWATE adopted schools before making education in these schools 100% free. This will not happen immediately, but with time, we are going to do this. And since charity begins at home, I'd already sent my field officer to the head teacher for Lwero Primary School, where I went for school. Right now it's called Lwero Elementary and Junior Secondary School. So my main reason for sending my field officer there is to inform the head teachers that very soon we'll take over the payment of salaries for board employed staff at the school. I had inquired with the principals of the adopted schools in August last year, and the principals pointed out that they are overburdened by high fee arrears. The schools are unable to service their debts and at times even pay wages for board of management employed workers. So my work as a data scientist and a retired teacher is currently I study the data, historical data for companies, and use that data to bail those companies out of the hole, out of the ditch. What that means that companies that are in debt, companies that are struggling to remain afloat, it is my job as a data scientist to use the historical data to come up with a program that will make them stay afloat. That's what I do as a data scientist. So because I'm a teacher, why not do this to schools from my area? Why don't do this to schools from my country? The situation at St.On Sega Township is not unique. as many schools are struggling to remain afloat. So the schools are unable to service their debts and at times even pay wages for board of management employed workers. This will be history if KISWATE Digital Academy succeeds. I intend to absorb all board of employed workers to be employees of KISWATE Digital Academy as they continue serving our schools so long as they are ready to learn new ideas and adopt technology in their work. This is the reason why I am deploying KISWATE engineers to those schools for a period of 2 years. What about TSC employed teachers? Any teacher who will take our training seriously and become digital educator within 1 year will be among the first 50,000 TSC registered teachers KISWATE intends to absorb. Now, some people are asking me, how am I going to remunerate them? KISWATE Digital Academy Global Teacher will be paid at the rate of 3,000 per hour, and assistant subject teacher that is physically available in the classroom where the students are will be paid at the rate of 1,000 per hour. That is, if he teaches the same subjects like the teacher on the screen. If he doesn't teach the same subjects like the teacher on the screen, will be paid 500 per hour, and we are calling that teacher as assistant classroom teacher because the work of that teacher will be to maintain discipline in class, take attendance, and make sure that the students' homework are distributed to them on time. But the assistant subject teacher, in addition to the role of the assistant classroom teacher, this teacher will be able to grade tests, quizzes, and upload them on our system within 1 week. That's why we are paying them more. And if they do this for between 1 term to 3 terms, that's 1 year, we will promote them to become KDA global teachers on the screen, which will be paying 3,000 per hour for a start. Now, when the number becomes too big, and we are able to convince 50,000 TSC registered teachers to join us, we'll change this, and we'll be going by the job group, or as defined by the TSC, as defined. That is the plan. And for us to do this, we must have a memorandum of understanding with Teacher Service Commission. We must have a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Education, because the end results for this, it will reduce the teacher shortages in the country by between 35% to 500 or 50%. Why? Because we will be using technology. And that is the powerful technology is in the modern world. They will remain employees of TSC during the day, but in the evening, they will be allowed to moonlight as remote educators for at least 2 hours before or after school. This will reduce teacher shortages in Kenya by about 35%. KISWATE hired a lawyer for all principals of KISWATE adopted schools to assist them in navigating the legal challenges, if any, as will be raised by board of management of their schools. Please feel free to consult Mr. Henry Kurauka on the phone number provided for any legal advice at the cost of KISWATE. KISWATE will address these challenges using technology. Yesterday, I appointed 3 KISWATE engineers and posted them to 3 of these schools. Their main job is to train and prepare teachers for arrival of 10th grade students in senior secondary schools as per the ICT policy for public schools in Kenya. Now, when the principal for St. Mary's Ukwala High School presented this project to the board of management, the board of management raised a very vital question, and the thing is, they can only allow this program to run if it follows the ICT policy for public secondary schools by the government of Kenya. I've since obtained this policy from the Ministry of Education, and some of the clauses in the policy say that they allow collaboration with the private entities like KISWATE to promote digital literacy in their schools. So KISWATE will not only promote digital literacy, but we are going to use this digital platform to address teachers' shortages in the whole country. So we are operating within the policy framework that is already existing within the Ministry of Education. A copy of the same is attached here for your review. This cohort will be the first group to use KISWATE Digital Register. The register will be downloadable from the App Store for free with effect from November 16, 2025. But the schools, through the parents, will pay for the products associated with the register. One of such products is the KISWATE Digital Smart ID. This will be the only point of access tool to digital dining hall. When we use it at the digital learning hall, we are going to use it as a meal card. Digital library, when you use as a library, we're going to be using it as a digital library card. Digital gate, when we use as the gate when the students come into the school and they get out of the school, we'll be using it as a gate pass. A digital lab, when we use it for the students to get into our labs that we're going to equip in this adopted school, we'll be using it as a lab pass. Digital classroom, when we use it as the digital classroom, we'll be using it to take attendance and a discipline register. And also those for boarding schools, we're going to use it as to take roll call when schools take attendance in the boarding section. And also when students are being released to go for sports, we can use it to get students, to clear students to get in the school bus, because we have got incidences where a school releases students to go for a trip, and somewhere along the line during the trip, the bus gets an accident, and the school is unable to release the accurate details of the students that boarded the bus. Because what schools do, when they release students, they give a list, and the teacher who is in charge of that trip goes with that list. Some schools don't leave those lists back at school for references, just in case such things happen. Those will be things of the past, will be history with the introduction of KISWATE Digital Register. Because when we check in students using our digital register to get into the bus, they swipe their card on our optical machine. The data will go to the database, and any school administrator, whether principal, whether teacher, whether parent, will be able to log into the system and see, this bus for this particular school got an accident. Who are the students who are in the bus? And you'll be able to read online because of the digital register. So those are the cases we intend to eradicate, but we'll do this within the policy and as per the law governing this. Now, the engineers are KISWATE engineer Rose Deborah Pale will be an in-person employee based at St. Mary's Ukwala High School. She will work at the school for 4 days from Monday to Thursday to digitize the school, establish Ukwala TV, and on Friday, she will work from Lefunga Girls in the neighborhood to help the school come up with the Lefunga TV. I've since even awarded scholarship to the 3 students behind Lefunga TV. Now, KISWATE engineer James Oduor will be a hybrid employee and will be based at St. Joseph Uyundo Secondary School. He will work at the school from Monday to Thursday to digitize the school and establish Uyundo TV. And on Friday, he will work from Kagonya to establish Kagonya TV. Now, KISWATE engineer Sharon Corio will be an in-person employee. She will be replacing Michelle Ouma, who could not work as an in-person employee because Michelle Ouma is in school for 3 semesters a year. She is a Bachelor of Pharmacy student, enroll for a tri-semester. So we saw it wise to get a digitization engineer that can be based at St.Anne's Sega Township Secondary School due to the high population of students in that school. So Corio will work from Sega Township Secondary School from Monday to Thursday to digitize the school, and establish Sega Township TV. And on Friday, she will work from Barodar Secondary School in the neighborhood to start Barodar TV. The three engineers will be assisted by Dr. Fred Nundu, Dr. Lovely Natianga, Dr. Mildred Mora, Dr. Michelle Uma, Mr. Michael Mutuma, and Kiswate engineer Duncan Cheruyot as needed. Any principal who has any issue with their terms of service to get in touch with me on a 30-minute Zoom meeting every Wednesday from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Nairobi local time from July 16, 2025 to July 16, 2027. Those are 2 good years. I'll be available on Zoom every Wednesday for 30 minutes to answer questions to the principals, and this will be the best way to open for a system of communications for our principal, because we're in a different time zone, so getting time to call or getting time to engage them one-on-one could be a challenge. So they'll have a period of 2 years to come to my meetings on Wednesday for 30 minutes. They don't need to come for all Wednesdays. They just need to come for one Wednesday of their choice. Maybe on that Wednesday, the schools are on holidays or on half term, so they are not busy. So just log in for 30 minutes and ask me questions, if any. So these digitization engineers will be on contract even for 2 years, and this will only be possible if their appointments are approved by the Board of Management of Kiswate Adopted Schools. If the Board of Management does not approve their appointments, they will not report for duty as scheduled on August 25th. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean that if the Board of Management does not approve their appointments, they will not, your school will not be digitized? No, the school will still be digitized, but in phase 2. And phase 2 will come in soon after we have started phase 1. So a couple of days ago, Kiswate Chief of Staff, Engineer Rose Deborah Ochiel, visited veteran YouTuber, Kenyan YouTuber, Aya Marwa, from Nyabohanze near the border town of Isebania at the border of Kenya and Tanzania. Mr. Aya Marwa has renamed his calf, the cow Kiswate gifted him sometimes back, Kiswate Digital Academy. What I'm talking about this is that when Aya Marwa was having a housewarming for his villa, we did gift him the cow to slaughter to the many guests that were visiting his home. But instead of Aya Marwa slaughtering the cow, he decided to keep the cow because he said it was a female. So now it's about 2 years since we did this, and we learned through Aya Marwa YouTube channel that the cow has given birth to a calf. The Kiswate cow has given birth to a calf. Now, Kiswate as an organization has also given birth to a digital academy, Kiswate Digital Academy. So it is this calf that my Chief of Staff, Rose Deborah Ochiel, was at the villa yesterday to name Kiswate Digital Academy. So what does this mean for Kiswate Adopted Schools? What does it mean when Aya Marwa accepts to partner with Kiswate? What does this mean to Kiswate adopted schools? What this means that with Aya Marwa, with over 500,000 supporters around the world, will be able to influence some of his audiences, or audiences, the people that watch his videos, to support our adopted schools in the digitization. So in February next year, between February and June next year, I'll be visiting the country, and I will fly from Nairobi. I'll fly straight to Migori, at the Migori airport, so that I can seal this deal with Mr. Marwa. I will not fly to Kisumu. The nearest airport to my hometown is Kisumu, followed by Kampala, Uganda. But employed by Entebbe Airport in Kampala, Uganda. Those are the 2 nearest airports to my hometown. Although we also have an airstrip near Sega Township Secondary School. They call it Poundege in our language. Yeah, it's just an airstrip, not an airport. But I've chosen to fly straight to the Migori airport to meet Ayamarwa when the time comes. So thank you so much, Ayamarwa, for accepting to work with us. And because of this, we would, during that time, we will invite around 100 head teachers from the secondary schools around your villa to come for the training on how to use your app. And since charity begins at home, we'll be gifting 3 Starlink or internet modem to 3 schools of your choice. And we do hope that one of those schools will be your alma mater, the Kisii High School. And for your information, Mr. Marwa, if you will read this message or read this video, I want to let you know that the current principal of your alma mater, the Kisii High School, was my roommate when I was at Kenyatta University. His name is Fred Mogaka. Shout out to Fred Mogaka for making it to that a substantive appointment, being a principal of a very high school, a very big school, and more so the school that produced the great Ayamarwa. So we are very proud of Kisii High School. We are very proud of Fred Mogaka, my former roommate at Kenyatta University in Nyayo 3. And we are praying for you that if Marwa decides to give you one of the Starlink internet connectivity, one of the 3 Starlink internet modems that we're going to give to him to give 3 schools of his choice, you will be a beneficiary of our program. But if Marwa decides not to do that, we'll respect his wish, because we are doing this just all because of him. At the present day and time, if you are unable to digitize your operations, it is like you are digging your own grave. And we don't want this to happen to Kiswate adopted schools. To the rest of the schools, please digitize or perish. Like Eveready Kenya, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. And that brings me to the end of my speech. Thank you so much for listening to me, and tune in using our Zoom. My Zoom link is also available on my Facebook page, Pius Odhiambo. It is a pinned post. It has got meeting ID. It has got all the passcode. It has got the time when we'll start the meeting on Wednesday. And after that meeting, at 2 p.m., I'll be addressing students and teachers of St.On Sega Township Secondary School. And when I'm addressing them, I'm not coming empty-handed. I'll be bringing scholarships to them. I'll be giving them 3 scholarships to them. Okay, thank you so much.